So if you need to go back to this later, or you want to send some of your team to view this later because they couldn't make it today, we will have this available on the Exhibitor vIITSEC website, and it will be under the Exhibitor Service Center. And I'm going to send out an email later today just directing you to where this can be found, and then a few other things that we have recently added to the Exhibitor Service Center to help you along. The first thing I want to do is I'll introduce myself. My name is Shannon Birch. I'm the Director of Exhibits and Sponsorships for NTSA. And also on this call helping me today, and you will hear from her in just a little bit, is Debbie Langelier. She is our Vice President of NTSA, and she will take you through parts of the virtual platform that relate to the conference side, and then I will handle the parts of the platform that relate to the exhibit hall. Also on the call is Mark Mann, who many of you have emailed with many a times. He is our exhibits coordinator, so he's also on the call, and also Carol Dwyer, who is our Assistant Director of Membership for NTSA. She's also on the call, and they will be monitoring the chat box so that if you have questions when we get to the Q&A, they will be there monitoring the chat box, or if you're having some kind of technical difficulty, they're there. We do ask that everyone keep your cameras off and keep yourself muted. That will help this go much smoother. And then, like I mentioned, we will address questions. So send them to the chat box and we'll address your questions at the end. But we'd like to go through the preview first, and then we can go back to your questions. So Debbie and I will be switching off and on. There might be a slight delay as we go between mics or go between screen shares. So we definitely appreciate your patience with that, but we'll try to do it as smoothly and as quickly as possible. And of course, this is all new to, definitely new to me. So I appreciate your patience if I make a mistake here or there. Let me just check my housekeeping notes here. And if for some reason we don't get to your question today, or if we don't have the answer, you can always email, and when I say we don't have the answer, meaning we need to go back to eShow because it's something technical that we can't answer. But you can always email myself or Mark, and we can get those answers for you. So just wanted to let you know if something pops up that we can't answer, or if you think of something later after this presentation, you can always just send us an email and we can address it specifically there. So I think what we are going to do now is I think we're ready to go, and Debbie's going to start, and this is the outside of the venue. So when everyone logs on at any time, the first day, the second day, whatever it is, this is what they're going to see. And then you'll see she has her mouse on Enter Venue. So we're going to go into the Convention Center now. Okay, so here we are in the lobby. So this is the lobby of the Convention Center. And three things that I want to point out right away is starting on the left-hand side, you have a networking and my agenda. Right there is where you can go directly into the networking lounge or go into where you're going to keep your schedule. We'll show you another way to get to that also up in the top bar. In the middle here, we have presentations. So that's where all of the sessions, whether they're live or recorded, you'll be able to get access to. And then over on the right-hand side is the Expo Hall. And if you click on that, you'll go right into the Expo Hall. So those are just three little quick shortcuts to get to three main areas of this platform. But let's go up to this blue navigation bar. So as you can see, the first thing listed is the lobby, which is where we are. Next, we're going to click on the exhibit hall, and we're going to, so Debbie, show us that exhibit hall. So this is what it's going to look like when you come into the exhibit hall. And one thing to mention on the exhibit hall, and we haven't finished building out everything completely, so you're going to see a few things unfinished today, but we wanted to go ahead and give you a first glimpse. That navigation bar up where it says Expo Hall will be a drop-down menu, and it'll have various items, like it will have alpha listing. it would have a way that you can search by technology. Right now, I did a little quick link, so you can see that the NTSA booth is right there. So Debbie, if you'll click on that, that was just to get us quickly to the NTSA booth today. So this is our NTSA booth. As you can see, we've been working on it. We still have a few more things to do, but this is a pretty good idea of what your booth should be looking like at this point and stage in the game. So the one thing that, let's start with the features here in the booth. So you can see we have our video here in the middle. And if I want to play that, I would click the play button. If I want to enlarge it to a full screen, I go to the little icon on the right and I click on that and it would take the video into full screen. So that's just something, you know, if you weren't aware of that, you can do that. On the right-hand side, you'll see we have these blue tabs. It starts with About Us. About Us is the tab where if you were to click on that, it would show your company description. This is where you're going to enter your company description. If you scroll down a little bit, there's some of our documents. Anything that Carol has pretty much uploaded is there. So Carol is the one who's been building our booth for us. Now, if we go back to the blue navigation on the right-hand side, then you'll see the next button is Documents, which is what we just spoke about. The third button is Visit Our Website. So that would take, if you clicked on it, it takes someone directly back to the NTSA website. Then we also added our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram social media. When you're building your booth, now what you don't see here for us, and the reason you don't see it is, for instance, we don't have a button that says video. The reason we don't have a button that says video is we only have one video, but if we had multiple videos like many of you do, it would populate a button there called videos. So the customer can click on that and see all of your videos. But in our case, we only have one and it's already showing right there in the forefront of the booth. So we don't need an extra button for videos. And the same with press releases. Currently, we don't have any press releases that we've added to the booth. But if we did, our button would show there. So when you're building your booth and you're adding all of these items to the booth, once you add an item, then it populates in the on the right-hand side with these buttons. So then let's go to the buttons at the bottom. So the gray buttons at the bottom, and these are really important to understand how they function. So if we click on Exhibitor Chat, that would be the first button. If we click on that, it takes you to the Exhibitor chat room. And that's where a customer can chat with you. You can drop messages to the attendee. So for instance, Mark and I have been encouraging you to have a welcome message each day. So I would suggest someone from your booth going in and typing in, "Welcome to the NTSA booth. We hope you enjoy your day. Please let us know if you have any questions." You can type something like that. You could encourage them to scan their badge, which you'll see is one of those gray buttons right there. That would allow you to have them populate into your leads. So you could write a message encouraging them to do that. And the one thing I will point out is when in that exhibitor chat box, and that exhibitor chat box is for the company, not necessarily, it's not going to be for the individual, but this is for the company. It will scroll down throughout the day as people are writing stuff, whether it's you or the attendee. So if you have an important message that you want to get across to them, you might want to go back and repeat that message throughout the day, like don't forget to scan your badge, a message like that, so that it goes back up to the top of the chat box in your exhibitor chat. So that would be something to keep in mind. We do recommend that someone from the booth is monitoring that exhibitor chat room just to make sure somebody's not looking for information or looking for help, that you don't want to miss an opportunity to engage with an attendee. So I would just be sure that you're checking that exhibitor chat room throughout the day. The next button is appointments, and this is an important button that we're going to talk about today and pretty much in a lot of detail. So as you can see, when Debbie clicked on the appointment button, it brings up opportunities for attendees to book an appointment with someone in your booth. And what we did is it's by day, and we did the hours of the show. So for instance, 8 to 5, and they're in 15-minute increments. So an attendee can click on whatever day or whatever time they're looking for. And Debbie, if you'll just scroll all the way to the bottom again, this is really important. You have to hit request appointment to make sure that it then goes back to the company, back to yourselves, so that you know that this person is requesting an appointment with someone. Now, when we get over to the Exhibitor Service Center, we're going to go into this in much more detail, because what will happen is if when someone requests an appointment in your booth like this, it's going to go back to that Exhibitor Service Center, and it's going to show as a pending appointment. And you will want to designate someone in your company, whether it's yourself as the point of contact or someone else that you trust to do this, but they will need to, throughout the day, keep checking in that Exhibitor Service Center for any pending appointments. And when, like I said, when we get over there, I'm going to go into much more detail, but 2 things do have to happen. You have to assign the appointment to either one of your salespeople, or maybe it's a technical question, it needs to go to a technical person, but you'll need to assign it to someone who's working in the booth. You also need to confirm the appointment. So when you see it initially, it's going to say, it's going to be this yellow calendar, and it's going to say pending. And you'll want to, and I'll show you how to do this in the service center, but you'll want to make sure that you either confirm the appointment or decline it. There is an opportunity for you to also write a message to that attendee saying, if you confirm it, saying, thank you, I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And then you confirm it. Now, the attendee will get an email back from you once you confirm or decline the appointment. They'll get an email back. It will also pre-populate into their agenda that this appointment's been confirmed or if it's been declined. The salesperson or the booth person that you assign it to will also get an email that they've been assigned this appointment. So that is one thing that they need to pay attention to, is their email throughout the day, especially if you have told them in advance that they will possibly have appointments. They need to check their email throughout the day to make sure they don't have any pending appointments. It will also, once you confirm the appointment, it will populate it in not only the attendees calendar, but also your booth person's calendar, whoever you assign it to. But again, I'll show you more detail on that on the other side. The next button, let's go to a scan badge. And this is your lead retrieval. So this is where the attendee, when they click on the scan badge, it will send, and there's a little button up at the top, they say send lead. They can write you a note. I'm interested in your new product. I'm interested in the service that you provide. They can type whatever they want to you in this box, and then hit send lead. On the exhibitor service side, and I'll show this to you when we get over there, you will be able to go in and check your leads throughout the day. When the attendee hits scan badge, just like when they walk into your booth at the show and you say to them, may I scan your badge? And if they say yes and you scan it, they are giving you verbal permission to all of their information, meaning company name, title, email, whatever they have supplied on the registration form. So that's how you get the detailed information about the customer. And that's why I would encourage you to have a message in your exhibitor chat room that encourages them to scan their badge so that they can, so that you can get back with them. The next button is contact. So if you click on this, so you'll see that Carol's there, I'm there, and Mark is there. So if I'm a customer and I come into NTSA and I want more information on vIITSEC 2021, someone can email me automatically. Click on the email. They can type in an email, tell me what they're looking for. They can request a chat with me by clicking on the chat button. And they, let's say they don't have time to really chat right now, they can also save my information in their e-bag. So every attendee, whether you're an exhibitor or a conference attendee, will have an e-bag. And the e-bag is for this purpose, not only to save contact information, but you can store any documents from a booth that you visit. You can store a video. Let's say they really like the video that we're playing and they want to go back to it later. They can store that in there. Any of the sessions that they go to, So the e-bag is very similar to when you're at a regular show and you have an attendee bag that you walk around with and collect the information. The next button is called Points Earned. So we will be doing a gamification with the show where people can earn points, and we'll get to the game room a little bit in just a moment, but they can earn points by visiting booths, and every exhibitor will have points associated with them. If you're a sponsor, you will have more points than someone who is not a sponsor, but every participating company will have an opportunity to allow an attendee to earn points for coming and visiting the booth. The attendees will also have can earn points visiting other areas of the platform too. This is still under development, so we have not released all the details on it yet, but that will be coming soon. And then, of course, the last button is the e-bag. And that's where you can store anything that is collected. Okay, so then we are going to we're going to go back up to that blue menu bar, and we're going to leave the exhibit hall and we're going to go to the auditorium. So I am going to turn this back over to Debbie, and then she is going to talk to you about the auditorium and the networking functions on the conference side.
Great, Shannon, thanks. I'll start with the auditorium. This is going to be where all of the papers, tutorials, and our live special events will be, along with your innovation showcase videos. As Shannon mentioned, we're still building everything out, so you'll see just a few different tabs now, and if I go to one of the best papers or the conference, all the papers will be organized in alphabetical order under each of their subcommittees. There'll also be a tutorial section here, as I mentioned, the innovation showcase, and then I'll show you the day one, but as you can see, we are still building it and we're still working on those live sessions. But once it's probably by the 20th, and I think Shannon had mentioned to everyone that you'll be able to get a preview. By then, you'll be able to see this a little bit more robust once we finish all the videos. Next is what we're proudest of, the networking lounge. So this will be where all the attendees will be networking and also keep up with their smart match appointments that Shannon had mentioned in your booth. Let me start real quick with the keyword search. The system will allow you to search by any type of keyword and will find everybody or anything related to that. So let's just choose AR really quick. And as you can see, you'll be able to find the attendees who have checked AR as part of their profile, the booth staff who also would have checked AR as in their original profile. And by profile, I mean, you'll see in the smart batch appointments, those technologies that you selected when you registered. And if by chance you missed those, under My Profile inside eShow, you're able to do that through the Attendee Service Center. But there'll be documents about AR, then the exhibitors who would have marked AR as part of their technologies, products, sessions that are related to AR, and then also any videos that may be related to AR. And this will include if it's tagged as part of your innovation showcase of AR. And as Shannon mentioned before, you can view a link to those, or if you don't have time, put them in your e-bag and you can go back and look later. Next are your smart match appointments. As Shannon had mentioned, you'll see that I've made a few appointment requests into a couple of different booths. So until the booth, you let me know that I'm approved or I've canceled or you declined the appointments, I will stay in the tentative mode the entire time unless I either cancel the appointment or the exhibitor comes in and approves me or declines the meeting. When I talk about the profile, the match is right here. So this was in the beginning at registration, and again, it will be included in the association of the Attendee Service Center so that you can click on the technologies that you'd like to match with. And what it does is it matches by the top choice back to the bottom choice. So you'll see it's a little slow in processing. My number one answer choice was Joanne, and then it just feeds down into 222. If I had chosen more technologies, it would have allowed me to go down into my least matched and then my most matched. And then the time blocks that also Shannon talked about, but this is more on the attendee side. The attendee has to go in and mark when they're not available. So that may be an issue too. All of your individual booth staff will be able to do this, and Shannon will talk more about that, about the individual profile calendar appointments. And then the bookmarks are another place outside of eBag that you can mark everything that you want to see, from session to exhibitors to speakers. And then next are chat and discussion groups. And this is where Shannon had mentioned that when you do exhibitor chat or private chat with the exhibitor, it will put you into the unified communication portal. So you'll click on chat and discussion groups, or from the exhibitor portal, if they had clicked exhibitor chat, you would have come right into this. So when Shannon mentioned type a message each morning, you could type a message here about, but it will, as a continuous feed, if people start to chat in here, it will continue to feed. So I do suggest, as Shannon said, to keep a message going and have one of your exhibit staff members kind of check this every day just to see what's going on. On top of that, we will have chat monitors in the unified communication, checking on making sure everybody's keeping up with their chats. And if we see that an exhibitor chat is kind of going crazy or is not being monitored, one of our chat monitors will get in touch with you to let you know something's going on in your booth. I'm just going to go through these real quick. The main chat feed will be vIITSEC Engaged. This is where everybody will be chatting to begin with. So there's ability to put pictures in here, chat, and just talk about any other topic you want to. What we do ask is don't put company logos in here. This isn't for advertising. This is more for the vIITSEC attendees to engage with exhibitors, talk about the latest topics, what your sessions you liked, and everything else like that. Next will be our networking break. These are going to be one per day, and I'm sure that the companies are working on those right now. So this is a place where we thank our sponsors, and they have networking activities that will happen. They're all working on their individual networking breaks. I'm not sure what they're doing in their individual companies, but I'm sure they're going to offer a little bit of relief and some fun during vIITSEC. Next are our discussion groups. So all 4 services have agreed to have an open forum and an open discussion with all the exhibitors and attendees. So these rooms will be open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, and then 8 to 3 on Friday. So this is a place where you, as the exhibitor, as industry, can come in and chat with Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, Navy. All the PMs are going to be assigned here, and leadership will be in these rooms at certain times. Every morning you should check these chat rooms, because they're going to place their schedule for the day of who's going to be in the rooms, where their PMs, where their leadership will be around the platform. This is also where you'll be able to meet the authors, back to that auditorium. So if you are interested in talking to one of the authors further about their paper, about their tutorial, they'll have meet the author sessions every day from 4:30 to 6. And there'll be more information about that in the program as well, and who's assigned to what time. And then last is private chats. So when Shannon had mentioned chat on the individual person, it opens up a private chat with that person. So if I wanted to chat Jennifer Arnold and I chose her in the booth, this is where it would take me to individual chats. There's also an ability to request a video chat. I request it, but it is not automatic. They have to approve my request for the video chat. It doesn't open automatically in their computer. And that's it for the unified communication. Shannon, I'll give it back to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Debbie. So let's go back up to that blue navigation bar. And we just talked about networking. So now here's the media bar. This is still under development, but just to let you know, the show dailies will be located there. So we will have a virtual show daily, and you'll be able to access it there. The next button is the game room, and this is what I was talking about for the gamification. So this is under development, and once we have defined all of the game rules, we will post them there. So the next little button down, so the leaderboard is going to show who's ahead, how many points people have earned. So that will be a running leaderboard that you can check if you are participating, or if attendees are participating. They can always check their status, see where they are. Somebody's beating Debbie right now, as you can see, with the leaderboard. The game details, the next button down, and that's where we're going to outline how you earn the points. So once we have that complete, we will add that information there. And then the game prizes. We are still working on those, and from what I've seen so far, there's going to be some really wonderful prizes available to the winners. So when the show is live, you'll be able to come here and see what the different prizes are. So that is the game room. And the next room is eBag. The first thing I want to mention is, so the eBag room is available for sponsorship. If anyone is interested in getting their logo, just like how you saw on the game room and the networking lounge, we already have sponsors for those rooms. This one is still available. So if anyone's interested, please let me know. Your logo would either go in that top right or that the bottom right. So we would do that for you. And this is where every attendee, regardless of whether you're a conference attendee or an exhibitor, you're going to come here and you can see whatever you put in your eBag. So this is where, as you can see, like Debbie's collected a couple of exhibitors. She's saved a couple of attendees that she wants to make sure she goes back and talks to, a video product. So anything that you store in your eBag, this is where you as the individual and the attendee as the individual will come and check so that she can come back and go to those at any time. So again, if you're interested in being a sponsor of this page, your logo would be on it. So people will, every time they click on their eBag, they're going to see your name. So let me know if you're interested in that. Then the last button is the help desk. And this is still under development, but when the show opens, and as you can see, so Rave Computers is our registration and help desk sponsor. So that's why you see their logo there. And that's why their logo's been on all of the correspondence about registration. But during the show, people can come here if they're having technical problem, if they're having, they can't find a session or they can't find a company, anything that they need, they're going to come here. We have a designated staff that's going to be there to help them. So that is the help desk. And I believe that is all we have for this portion of it. So Debbie, I am going to switch to my screen.
Okay, Shannon, one thing I want to address before you do that, and I forgot about it, and someone reminded me in chat, in the networking tool, everything is public. So except for private chats, if you're in a discussion group or social feed or the exhibitor booth, yes, everybody will see what everybody else says. To do anything private, you have to be in a private chat. Okay, Shannon.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, great. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go over to the Exhibitor Service Center. Okay, let me just collapse a couple things. Here we go. All right, so we are in the Exhibitor Service Center, and I'm using NTSA as the example here. So a couple of things that I want to point out. We just added these little quick links yesterday, so you can see appointments, lead retrieval, and booth analytics. So we added those quick little links yesterday. So when you come to your Exhibitor Service Center, you can easily get to those items, but you can also go to under the exhibits tab, and it gives you a much longer list here, but we're just going to go kind of through each one. So the exhibitor checklist is that main screen that you've all been looking at with the due dates on it. So if I scroll down just a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. Here's all the different due dates. And just to let everybody know, these are recommended due dates, which is today. We're hoping that you've at least gotten at least 50% of your booth complete. If you have not started on your booth, we really, really recommend that you start working on your booth and get it built. You will have access to your booth anytime before or during the show. So if you need to go in and make a change, update a document, change out a video, you can do those things. It's not that you can't do them after today, because you certainly can. What we want you to keep in mind is that Thanksgiving is the week before the show. So the show starts on Monday the 30th. Thanksgiving is the Thursday before. Most people have the Thursday and Friday off. So just keep that in mind. Now NTSA will be working, but eShow will have a skeleton crew working that week because of the holiday. And the reason I point that out is if you have any technical issues that Mark and I cannot solve, and we have to get eShow involved, it may take a little bit more time because not everyone will be working over Thanksgiving. So just a little heads up on that, keep that in mind. And I have been mentioning that on my emails to you guys. So let's go back up here. So we're going to go to this exhibit drop-down menu. The exhibitor directory is where you would have entered all of your company information. You can see Carol has put everything in there. Here's our company description. Here's where we entered that logo for NTSA. And this is what we've been talking about. These are the product categories. And this is really important that not only do you do this for your company, but you do this as an individual. And I'll show you how to do it as an individual in just a moment. But this is, for instance, this is going to be related to my booth. So Carol has clicked everything that NTSA would represent. So if somebody's searching for one of these things, we're going to come up in their list of an exhibitor that has interest in these areas, or we have expertise in these areas. So that's what that is. And it's really important that you do click all that apply to you because you never know what keywords someone might type in. So I would definitely click anything that would apply to you. The next button down is the virtual booth setup. Now this is really important. This very first block right here, it says chat hours. You can see I show myself, or I show NTSA online for the entire conference. We really, really recommend that you do the same thing, because what would happen if you, let's just say I didn't do this and I was showing offline, that would mean someone would have a really hard time getting in touch with me as the exhibitor during the conference. So it's really easy to do. You just go over here to the edit button, you click on edit, and you can see I have myself all online here. So if you go to this in your exhibitor service center and anything is offline, I would recommend you turning it to online so that your booth is available for all of these times listed here. So that's really important. It's also important that you always hit save to make sure that it saves anything that you're going to change. So let me get out of that. Okay, so then the next thing, here are all the documents where Carol uploaded all of our documents. So that's where you do that. When you're building your booth, and if you haven't stumbled across this yet, when you're building your booth, if at any time you want to look at your booth and say, okay, I just added my documents, is that document button appearing? I can click here. It's going to show me my booth, and it's going to show me right here, yep, my documents are there, and I can check it right there. Let me just go back. Okay, here is the lead capture solution. So this is where, this is really important. So once you need to go into your exhibitor service center. If you don't show lead capture solution there, you need to purchase it. And Mark, if you need to get instructions on how to do that, please email Mark, and he can guide you through it. If you've already purchased it, or you already have it in your booth, what's really important here is you have to come to this edit button, click on it, and you have to activate it. So we've already activated ours, but if I had not, there would be a thing here that says activate. And then of course I still have to always hit save. Now here's where I can, if I wanted to add some questions, like say I wanted to add some specific, well, someone just asked what are examples of survey questions. It could be maybe you have a specific product. Are you interested in our XYZ product? You can add any kind of survey questions you want here. So that's something that you can also go in and make unique to your company. The next item is something new that we had added, and this is where, so we've had a lot of people asking us, okay, we want to have a Zoom meeting or a team meeting outside of the platform, because inside the platform you can't have video meetings with multiple people. This is where you can add a URL that would take people to that meeting. So if we, NTSA, we don't have anything there, but if I were to add a URL, those little blue buttons on the right-hand side, it would get populated over there. So you would see a button in your booth that says link to Zoom, link to Teams. anything that you need to do outside of the platform, you can add a unique URL there. Online product showcase. We at NTSA don't have anything to add here, but if we did, we would have had another blue button on the right-hand side that said product showcase. Product showcase, people have been asking me, what do I put there? It's been recommended from eShow based on what other conferences have done, that your product showcase could be like marketing collateral, maybe a product brochure, those types of items, those types of documents. Again, here would be press releases. And if I had added anything to these things, I would have a blue button over on the right-hand side. And again, if I had more videos to add, I would have them right here. And then I would have a blue button on the right-hand side that says videos. But we don't, so that's why you don't see those blue buttons in our booth. So that is your virtual booth setup. I think you've all had a chance, if you haven't, but if you do get stuck, eShow did make a booth tutorial, and if you haven't looked at it, you might just want to go through it. It does have some really helpful hints in it. Now, this is the biggie. This is really what the main focus of today is about. So this is what we've been talking about, the Exhibitor Networking Planner. Now, this is the one that is related to the booth. So a couple things and it's the exact same tabs that Debbie pointed out on that attendee side. So a couple things I'll just go over again. So if I click on search, this is where I can search for an attendee by last name, company name. Maybe I can't remember the person's name, but I remember the company name and the city they were from. So I can search different ways here. And of course, I can always search by product category, as Debbie mentioned. But I will tell you, this will not show up unless you first come here to the profile and pick these categories that apply to your booth. So make sure that you do that first, do this part first, and you can pick all that apply. Make sure you hit save. Once you do that, you can go back to the search button, and then you should have this function here available. If you haven't done your profile setup yet for the booth, and I clicked on the search, it would tell me you have to set up your profile first for this to work. So it'll tell you that message. Now, the other thing I want to point out is, let's go to appointments. So let's just say, and I put in some dummy appointments here, but let's just say that someone has requested an appointment in your booth. And this is what I was talking about. Someone from your company needs to be monitoring this throughout the day. And I'll point out the first test meeting here. So this person has requested an appointment with us at 8 a.m. on Monday, November the 30th. Here is that yellow calendar. That means that I have not approved this appointment yet. I have not confirmed it. To confirm it, I click on the yellow calendar, and I've already typed in a little message. We look forward to speaking with you, blah, blah, blah. I hit confirm appointment, and it changes it to the green X. So now that appointment is confirmed, and I had already assigned it to Carol. So Carol's already got that appointment for Monday at 8 a.m. When you first come into this, and again, this was a test yesterday, but when you first come into this, where it has Carol's name, it's not going to have a name until you give it a name. So you would click on select booth staff. It's going to bring up anyone that you have designated in your booth as working in the booth. These are the booth staff that for NTSA that we've decided is going to work in the booth. So Carol's going to be monitoring this. As Carol's going to say, oh, this person is interested in exhibiting in 2021. Let me go ahead and assign that to Shannon. So she's already assigned it to me. You can see my name is there. If this were a yellow box, she would have to then still go and confirm it, but she's already confirmed that appointment, so we're good there. Now, what that means is whoever requested the appointment with me, it's now populated into their calendar, and it's also populated into my calendar as an individual. So you can see Debbie here has requested an appointment with us, so I'm going to click on booth staff. I'm going to assign Carol to that appointment. And then I'm going to go to the yellow box, and I'm going to say, I can type anything, looking forward to meeting you, whatever you want, right here. And then I'm going to say confirm appointment. So now we are confirmed. Obviously, you can change staff if you need to. You can change people out there. Let's just say something happens and I'm not going to be available at that time and I want to switch it over to Mark. We can do that. So this is the important part of when someone tries to make an appointment with someone in the booth. Now, if they were over in the attendee lounge and they wanted to make an appointment directly with Debbie, there's no problem because they've already contacted her calendar directly. Again, you only have to do this for the booth appointments, not as individual. If it's an individual, you're going to confirm it yourself and it's going to automatically populate. So for instance, this one right here, when I go back to my inbox, I'm going to have an email that tells me I've been assigned this appointment with this person at this time, and I will have that email there. And you can add it to their Outlook calendar. You can add stuff there. Someone just asked a question, can you block off times? Yes. So let's just go to time blocks right here. And so here are all those times that we talked about and that we showed you on the appointment tab. And you'll notice you have 2. So you can have 2 people assigned at the same time. So between 8 and 8:15, I can actually have 2 of my salespeople meet with 2 different other people. If let's just say 8 to 8:15 is no good for anyone and I don't want any attendee to try and book a time with us at that time, I'm going to click block right here. And that will block off this entire time. But let's just say, okay, I've already got Shannon or Carol at this time, and I don't want to try and book someone else at the same time. If I just click the 1, then Carol's already set right here at 8 o'clock to 8:15. But in the exhibitor booth under appointments, this would not allow her to allow someone to book another appointment between 8 and 8:15. So you can either click here and block both, or you can block one at a time here. So, okay, so let's go back to, that's how to block off times where no one in your booth is going to be available. And again, it's following the 15-minute increments for the show times, 8 to 5 each day. I think the last day it ends a little bit earlier, so you'll want to pay attention to that. We've gone over profile setup. Now let's go to this matches tab. So here's the tab, and it takes it just a second. It's calculating all of my matches. So here's the tab where, based on what I identified in the booth as things that I am able to answer questions to, or things that pertain to my company, here are all of the matches that come up for me. So I have 250 matches. And as Debbie mentioned, it's going to rank them. So I have all of these people with 9 these are going to be my best matches because they've also identified those same 9 categories that they're interested in. And let's just say I can either request an appointment directly with them right here. So I click on that, request my appointment. Or let's say I don't have time right now, but I don't want to forget to go back. I'm going to click bookmark. So if I click this bookmark right here and I go to the bookmarks tab, it will save all of the people that I need to remember to go back to. You know, whether it's I want to set up an appointment with them or I just don't want to lose their information. So that will allow you to kind of like make someone a VIP in your searches so that you can go back to them at any time and see who you really want to talk to or who you want to make sure that you don't forget to go back and talk to. All right, so that is, let me go back here. Let's go back to search. And give me just a second here, you guys. I don't want to go to the booth. Sorry about this. Let me just go back in, start from the beginning. Okay, so we're back here at the beginning of the service center. So that was your exhibitor networking planner. Now, what Debbie was talking about, because you have a registration that is unique to you, you should have already received an email. If you have registered, you would have already received an email to go in and build your attendee profile. So not only do you have a profile as a company, you also have a profile as an individual. And this is really, this is important for you to do because, you know, just like here, I've added my picture. And again, I'm going to click all of these product categories that apply to me. So I'm going to come up in other people's searches, not only as a company, but I'm going to come up as an individual. So that's important that all of you do that. And you know, that I can't recommend high enough that you need to go in and make sure that this is done, because the more engagement you have as not only a company but as an attendee, the more people you're going to be able to reach out to and connect. So let's see. I just want to make sure if we missed anything here. Let's go back to the exhibits tab. Okay, leads. Again, you have your little, you're going to have your little quick link there, but you can also get to it here. So Debbie scanned her badge for me. So when she was in our booth, she scanned her badge. So now I can see when she was in the booth, her name, who she's with. So I could click here and reach out to her. That will give me access to her information. So again, if you have not purchased your lead retrieval yet, please let us know. An email went out from eShow last night about lead retrieval and how to make sure that it's in your booth. It did come from eShow, so it might be caught in your spam because it was auto-generated, so you might want to check there. But if you have any trouble, please let Mark know and he can get you all straight. Okay, so there is your leads. Then we want to go to booth analytics. So this is going to be an important page for you guys throughout the show. And I'm going to start in this upper box. So right now it's telling me 17 people have been to my booth. If I want to know who those people are, I'm going to click on total visitors. Here's everybody that has come to my booth. Now it's going to give you their name and their company name, but it's not going to give you all of their information unless they scan their badge. And that's a privacy law. We can't get around that. So that, you know, that's just the nature of protecting people's privacy. But now I know, I'm like, oh, Debbie Langelier visited my booth and I have not spoken to her yet. So I can click on her name and I can either set up an appointment with her or I can request a video chat with her. But this is a great way that you can see who's been in your booth each day. If you did not have a chance to connect with any of these people, this is your opportunity to reach out to them and say, hi, Debbie, I saw that you were in our booth today. I'd really love a chance to meet with you. Can we have a video chat or can we set up a meeting together? And that's how you can interact more with the customer. So this is really important. This was just added. eShow just implemented this last week. So this is a really important button because it will keep track of who is coming into your booth. The next box over is your documents. Right now, it will only be able to tell you how many people viewed your documents. They are working on, but won't have it ready for our show, but they're working on in the future being able to tell you specifically what documents people clicked on. But for now, you can see how much exposure your documents are getting. Under statistics, again, we have documents viewed. It'll tell you how many times your product website was viewed, your Twitter, your Facebook. Now, the exhibitor email sent, that tells you if an attendee has sent an email to someone in the booth. So that's going to tell you that right there. And then, of course, leads collected. So this is something you'll want to view throughout the conference and see how you're doing. And make sure, especially right here, this is super important, you guys. Make sure you're not missing any kind of engagement with someone because there will be times that somebody is probably not in the booth 24/7. Obviously, they're not going to be there all night. But this is a way you can come back in the next day and see who you might have missed. So that's a really important feature right there. And that's really all I have under this drop-down menu. And then we've talked about setting up your own personal attendee profile. So that's also very important. Even though you are with the company and you are working in a booth, you're still a registration, you're still an attendee. So you need to make sure that you have that personal attendee profile also set up. And that's only, like I said, it's only going to allow you more engagement with the attendees. The more information that you identify about yourself and your areas of interest or product categories, the more people you will potentially be able to reach out to. So that is all I have right now as in presentation. I think we are going to now go over to, let me uncollapse this. Looks like there's a lot of comments. So Debbie, did you want me to unmute? And I don't know if you've been monitoring these comments.
I have. I'll go through a couple of the questions, Shannon, and some of them I'll let you answer. Some of them, I noticed they have to send Mark an email. We have to ask eShow about a few of them, but why don't I read some of the questions and you answer them if that's okay? Let's
All
see.
right.
The first question, can you click on the other signs in the booth to make them larger? I'll answer that one. No, because they're not clickable. The actual graphics inside the booth, they're just still graphics. The only thing that will make larger is the video. And then the next question was, is the blue menu options on the right customizable? Those blue clicks on the right, if you want to address that, Shannon.
Those are not customizable. So unfortunately, we can't change the label of the blue icons.
Let's see. Is the and this is an eShow fee question. Is the booth host avatar customizable? Can we swap out the woman for another person or change images? I think that might be a custom booth that you can address, Shannon.
Correct. So the answer is no. Everybody gets the same avatar. If you wanted different avatars, you would have had to purchase a custom booth. I will tell you at this point, it would be really iffy to be able to do that because it takes about 2 weeks for eShow to build a custom booth. And we're kind of at that mark to where I'm not sure it could be ready by the 30th.
The next question was about assignments. Will that assigned person for appointments get a notification?
They will get an email. They will not get, something will not pop up on the platform saying, hey, you have an appointment. It won't do it like that. So that's why I said previously, you need to, whoever is working in the booth needs to make sure that they're monitoring their email throughout the day because that's where they're going to get the notification of the appointment.
And this is kind of a duplicate question. I assume you cannot have multiple appointments at the same time. And can you tag more than one person in the same appointment?
Okay, so 2 things. I'll address the first one about multiple. You saw that you could have 2. So you can have for the 8 o'clock to 8:15, for instance, I can have 2 appointments for that time block, but they have to be 2 different people. So you can't have multiple people on an appointment. If you wanted to do something like that, then I would suggest taking it outside of the platform. Let's say somebody's asking about a product and you need to have the sales guy and the tech guy on the call. That's probably an appointment that you want to set up outside of the platform with that customer. And that's the way I would recommend that you do it.
And I think you've sent this information out though, but will we be able to test the platform before the 30th opening?
So I have not sent that to them yet.
We might have lost you.
Yeah, I have not sent that to them yet, but that's the 20th. Is that correct, Debbie?
That's correct.
Okay. So on the I'll let Debbie talk about it actually.
So on the 20th, Shannon will send everybody a message. So it will be a link that's open from 8 to 4 that the site will be open. We ask that you keep it to 2 or 3 people per company because the site is still being built and eShow is still in there doing some technical issues, but it will be a way for you to go in, see the appointments, the live people, how to look at the game room, the auditorium. Hopefully by then we'll be a little bit more fleshed out, but I think for the, and this is back to Shannon, I think for the appointments, they can go ahead and start doing that now. They don't really need to see the platform to start engaging those appointments, right, Shannon?
Yes, that's correct. So the attendees and the exhibitors all received this week the information about building your profile. If you did not receive it, you need to let Mark know because it's probably stuck in your spam folder. And he can resend it to you like in a PDF. But everyone should have gotten an email by now about how do I go in and build my profile, like add my picture, pick my product categories, whether it's booth related or attendee related. Everyone, if you are registered for this event, whether you're registered as a exhibitor attendee or exhibitor booth staff, you would have gotten an email by now. So I encourage you to check your spam folder if you did not. If you still don't see anything, please let Mark know, and he can get things resent to you or figure out what is going on. But the answer is yes, you can go in there now and start doing stuff. Start finding your matches, finding people that you want to meet with. And, you know, as we get closer, more and more people will be building their profile. So until for the matches to work, which I've mentioned this a couple of times now, and we're also stressing this to the attendees, for the matchmaking to work, you have to go in and do those product categories. If you don't select anything, you will have no matches. So you have to go in and do that part, and it is really important for that matchmaking function to work. And once you do that, I mean, this matchmaking program is pretty robust, as Debbie mentioned. I mean, if you click on AR, like she pointed out, it'll show you everything: people, companies, documents, videos, sessions, anything related to that topic. It's going to pull it up for you. So it's important that you do your part and build your profile.
You addressed this one, but maybe just a brief. Why should I buy the booth scan if I can look at the analytics? And I think that probably has to do with, we don't give them the contact data, but I'll let you kind of be brief about that.
Sure. So as I mentioned, because of privacy laws, when they click on this total visitor right here, it's only going to give you their name and their company name. Now, yes, I could reach out to Debbie just by clicking on her name. But what it's not going to give me is, it won't give me her email address or her title or her company address or phone number. By someone clicking scan badge, like I mentioned before, just like at a regular show, if they walk into your booth, I doubt many of you just walk up and start scanning people without saying, "May I scan your badge?" Most people, you know, would ask the question first to be polite. So it's the same theory here. In order to have access to their personal information, they have to initiate the scan badge. By doing that, they are allowing you permission to their information. The reason you can't just have it is because of all the privacy laws that are in effect now, and we have to stay compliant. So that's why I would encourage you. It's $250. I mean, I would encourage you to do it, because you will get so much more out of this for the ROI for reaching out to people. If you choose not to do it, yes, this is a way that you could come and see who was in the booth and then try to reach out to them individually and find out maybe what they were looking for.
Okay, I know it's noon and we said at noon, but we have a few more questions to get through. So we'll continue on with those just to get them done. And then what we do not get to, or what we don't know the answer to, Shannon and Mark will follow up. The next one was about the file size limit. I know that we updated that from what it was before, but there was a question about what is the size of the docs, the images, and the video files.
Okay, so the video files can be, it was up to 250 megabytes. So videos have been up to that amount. The documents have been up to 50 megabytes. So those are the new file sizes that eShow was able to implement, I think, last week. And while we're on this subject, I see Naomi asked, can you change out videos and documents during the show? Yes, you can. So what I would recommend, though, especially with a video, I would recommend making a major change like that after show hours, because it does take a little bit of time for everything to regenerate. So I would not recommend doing it during the show because there could be, I don't know if it would freeze your booth. Again, we're dealing with technology, and I don't know if that could possibly happen. But I think to be on the safe side, if I were going to change my videos out or my documents out each day, for instance, I know someone asked me a little while ago, you know, hey, can I do a different video each day? In that screen on my booth? Yes, the answer is yes, you can. But what I would recommend is if you're going to make a major change like that, I would wait until after the show is over, so after the 5 p.m. time. Even though we are leaving our exhibit hall open 24/7, and that's really important to you. So that means, and that's why I encourage you to go to this section each morning and see who was in the booth. So, and if someone is really busy during the day, let's just say they had other obligations, whether it was sessions or something else related, they may not have time to go through the exhibit hall until after hours, like once they've finished their responsibilities. So that's why we're leaving the exhibit hall open, so that people can go in at any time and take time to go through a booth and look at information. But again, if you're going to make any major changes to your booth build, I would wait until after hours so that there's no disruption during the show hours in your booth.
Then there was a question about what are the differences between documents, press releases, product demos. What should I put in each category?
Okay, so when we were going through that virtual booth build, I mentioned the product showcase is what it's called. The product showcase we recommend, and eShow has recommended to us, that you should save that for your marketing collateral. So just like when you're at a regular trade show and you have things that you're handing out to people, a product brochure, maybe an ad about something, a one-page PDF about something, that's where you would put your product, your marketing collateral is in that product showcase. A press release is a press release. So if you have something, a new product coming out, or your company just did something great, or they just won some award, whatever press release, it doesn't have to be a press release happening that week. Let's just say 3 months ago, your company won an award for something and you want to, get that word out. I would put that press release in there. So that's what your press releases are for. It's, and again, it doesn't have to be a current press release. I would go back and put anything that's really happened in the last year. Since you saw them last year at regular vIITSEC, I would, anything you want to announce, I'd put that in there. And then your documents, again, are just whatever documents you might have. Some people mentioned they have white papers on some, on a topic. So you could put a white paper there. The documents and the product showcase are pretty much the same in the content, that it can be a PDF or a brochure or something like that. We just recommend, we're thinking logically that if people click on product showcase, it would be marketing material. That's our thought process there.
And there is about the videos. Originally, they thought that they would play one after the other, but is that true? Or does the visitor watch the video in the center screen and they have to click on the other videos on the menu?
So I'm going to confirm that with eShow. That is something I want to go back and talk to the tech guys about and just make sure that that I'm understanding it correctly. So I'm not sure who asked that question, if we can capture their information so that I can ask and find out.
That was Luann from Collins.
Okay, all right, I'll have to find out for you, Luann. And I think you have a custom booth, so it may be different for you.
And I would say out loud, because I've seen this a couple in the chats, scan badge and lead retrieval is the same thing. It's just they call it lead retrieval, and then when you're in the live platform, it's scan the badge. So lead retrieval is what you purchase in order for them to scan the badge. And as Shannon had mentioned, with scanning the badge, lead retrieval, you get their contact data because they've approved it. Without that, you only get their name. There actually was a question though, Shannon, that said if they don't scan their badge and they've left our booth, then we don't get their contact data, which is true. But you could probably talk to, you could then chat them and say, hey, come back and scan your badge. But I'll let you address that.
Yeah. So again, I would highly recommend someone is checking this throughout the day and definitely the next morning to see if somebody maybe was looking for your booth after hours. But yes, you can reach all of these people from here. And you could say something like, if I saw Debbie was in the booth and I didn't get a chance to talk to her previously, I could send her a note that says, hi, Debbie, I saw that you were in the booth and I'm here if you have any questions. I'd love to connect with you. So you do have to initiate the conversation.
And then I'll address the next one that says, everybody has to be registered that's on the platform. If you want anyone to be assigned a meeting inside the platform or take a meeting inside the platform, they have to be registered as part of vIITSEC. Now, they cannot be registered and have meetings outside of the platform, but they won't be tagged in that calendar that Shannon showed because they're not part of the event. And then I would say that also the next one is the platform taking into account the time difference. Everything will be announced in Eastern time. So we did take an account as far as the conference sessions. That's why you'll see that we start the live events around 10:30 each day. At some point we had to, it will be early for California and maybe late for the on the European side, but that was kind of the best ground we could find between everything. And then this one's to you, but I think I answered it, Shannon. All the staff members that we are assigned must be registered.
Correct. So as Debbie mentioned, in the virtual world, every single person that is registered will have their own unique login credentials. So you don't, even though you're part of a company and you're working in the booth, you will still have individual login credentials. You won't be logging in as NTSA 1234 is my password. That's not going to be an option. Each day I will have to log in as Shannon Birch with my own personal password. So each person, regardless of whether you are going to go to any of the sessions or you're just going to work in the booth, you have to be registered as an individual.
And I'm not sure if you're able to do this, Shannon, but someone had asked, can we see how, when someone clicks on the exhibitor chat, how we open ourselves up in the unified communications? I'm not sure if you have that the site open that you could just kind of go there quickly.
I don't. I'd have to go back. Let me just see here. Hold on.
Or I could do mine real quick.
Okay.
So if someone clicks on the exhibitor chat, it will take you into the booth. I'll have to go back here and click this. So it takes you right. So if an attendee clicks on your exhibitor chat, it will take you out of the expo hall and into your own individual chat room. So here's where you can chat. And again, booth staff will show. If in your booth staff, the attendee wants to have a private meeting, they will need to click on the 3 over here and initiate a private chat. Otherwise, they'll be put into the general population of everybody else in the feed. I think that was the last question that I've seen, but I'm now out of the chat feature, so.
Okay. So again, we did record this. Once it has been posted onto the Exhibitor Service Center page, I'll send an email out to everyone directing you to the page. We also did put together a how-to guide for scheduling these appointments. So we did, Mark did, a step-by-step guide with screenshots. It will go over everything we talked about today in reference to scheduling appointments. So that guide is also already in the Exhibitor Service Center on the vIITSEC website. So I will, once we post the link for this video, I'll just send a reminder to everybody and also point out that how-to guide so that you can download it, send it to anybody working in your booth. Anything that you might need should be there. If it's not, as I mentioned in the very beginning, and we've mentioned throughout, if you think of a question after this is over, feel free to email me, send Mark an email, and we can we'll know the answer, or if we don't, we will find out the answer from eShow. So we can get the answers for you that you need. So you just need to send us an email, and I think that's about it. I don't know if Debbie, if you have any other closing statements.
And I would say if I missed your questions in chat, that's my fault. So just send those to Shannon and Mark, and because there was quite a bit, which I'm happy to see that everybody's engaging and ready to get ready for vIITSEC. So I'd say on behalf of NTSA and also our president, Admiral Rob, we really do thank you for the support and the pivot that we had to do in a matter of 2 months. So we know as staff, it's been tough, and we know it's tough on you because you just rearranged and scheduled your second show when you were planning to go live. So it does not go unnoticed by us and our board and our president how valuable your contribution to make this successful is. So we really thank you for that. And as Shannon had mentioned, any questions or anything else, please send them an email and whatever time of the day or night that you wish, and Shannon will get back to you. So I'll let you close it out, Shannon.
Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to add is this date, November 20th, that Debbie's talking about. When I send you my email later today, just recapping this webinar and pointing you in the right direction, I will also give you that information. That November 20th, from the hours Debbie mentioned, will be like a practice run, so you can go in, show your staff what we talked about today, anybody that needs to look at it. But as Debbie mentioned, please don't send this out to customers. This is only for exhibitors. And, you know, this is just for you to go in and start getting familiar with how to navigate yourself around. So again, I can't stress that enough. This is not for customers. This is just for exhibitors to have a little preview and some time to play around in the platform before November 30th. Like Debbie said, I also want to thank you for everything. And we know this hasn't been easy. And we are really, really hoping that we will be back in Orlando next November for 2021. But thank you again for all of your support and your patience as we have learned how to do this together. And if we did not cover any of your questions today, please send us an email and we'll get on them right away. But I just want to thank everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.